Welcome back, you legends. I'm Dr. Cal, and let's get right into this video. It's been a while, you know I'm back. That means something big is about to happen. Now I want to start straight away with this chart. Up top is the S&P 500, down below is the VIX front month versus back month. This is my own twist on a well-established indicator. I have my own buy and sell signal parameters. The parameters are thus: the front month versus back month signal needs to drop below 1, and then it needs to recover above 1.03. Each time this has happened, we've had a buy signal, and it has led to additional upside, at least in the short term. Okay, so what does this mean? Well, it means that we're going to get a rally, at least in the short term. Whether that rally leads to all-time highs or just a small counter rally, it's not yet clear, but we'll use an additional indicator to get a better idea. Now, up top is the S&P 500 relative to gold. Down below is the daily chart for the S&P 500. The pink divergences are bottom finding divergences. This is my own way of using the couple of these charts. When the S&P 500 is significantly underperforming gold, while the daily chart is actually making higher lows, this has typically called significant market bottoms, even in pullbacks, okay? The signal is excellent at calling bottoms, whether short-term, long-term, medium-term, it doesn't matter. It's really good at it. What about the red divergences? The red divergences are bearish divergences where the S&P 500 is making higher highs on the daily chart while it is losing leadership to gold. It is underperforming gold. This means basically that money is flowing out of the S&P 500 and into gold as a defensive play. It means the market as a whole is anticipating something bad happening, okay? And this has also called significant market declines. So what is the current situation? The current situation is actually quite unique. The S&P 500 has made a slightly lower low. However, the S&P relative to gold has made a significantly higher low. This is a different kind of divergence. It is way more rare. And the last time we had a divergence that looks like this, take a look at this, legends. This is the S&P 500 down below. This is back in October of 2022. That means the bear market bottom. Up top is the S&P 500 relative to gold. The market dropped to a new low. However, relative to gold, the market actually made a significantly higher low. This called a major multi-year bottom, and the market has been rallying since. So what has happened as of last week? We've had the exact same kind of very rare divergence where the market made a lower low. However, the S&P relative to gold made higher low. Psychologically, this is very basic to interpret. It basically means some segments of the market are panicking. The market as a whole drops. However, relative to defensives like gold, the market is actually doing way better. It basically means that the overall market is behaving bearishly on the surface, but underneath there is significant buying pressure, especially relative to defensives. This means that smart money is tricking retail traders. Retail traders are shorting the market while the smart money is actually buying the market. And we know this is true because the CNN Fear and Greed Index is at extreme fear. In fact, if we take a look at the timeline, the last time the Fear and Greed Index was this low, it was this low back in April when the market was forming that major bottom. Does that mean that we're going to bottom and just rally straight ahead? Perhaps. It could also mean that we're going to get a near-term bottom, something that looks like this. This is the S&P 500 on the daily chart, okay? Then we get a recovery, a false rally, then something bad really happens 2 weeks down the line, something fundamental, and it leads to another major sell-off that leads to the actual bottom. What do we have in a couple of weeks? Well, in fact, we have the FOMC meeting Wednesday, December 10th, almost exactly a couple of weeks from now, the Fed interest rate decision and the FOMC projections as well. So this is going to be a very significant market moving day in a way, in a much bigger way than it has in the past. So let's take a look at the daily chart for the S&P 500 to get a better look at what's going to happen, let's say in the next week or so. So this is the daily chart for the S&P 500. This is the RSI. Down below is the stochastic with my own proprietary settings. You can have access to those and all of my trade ideas, my trade setups, all of my daily market analysis by joining our Discord trading community. Check out the link in the description below if you're interested. And if you watch all the way to the end of the video, you'll get an additional discount that I'll tell you how to access at the end of the video. Let's take a look at the daily chart for the S&P 500. We had a high right here in late October, slightly lower high, another lower high. So we're making lower highs as well as lower lows. So we are in a downtrend. However, with that being said, we've now hit a significant level of support right here at 652, give or take $1 or $2. In fact, we hit 651 on Thursday. In fact, we hit 651.89 Thursday, slightly lower low on Friday at 650.85. Then the market formed this bottoming candle, this indecision candle. These indecision candles, when they form at the lows of a trend, they basically indicate a bottoming, a change in trend. When they form at the top of a trend, they also indicate a change in trend. So we've had this huge bearish engulfing candle and no follow-up to the downside the next day. We had a bottoming candle instead. 652 as a major level of support has held, and we're now forming this bullish falling wedge pattern. Now, if things play out according to the buy signals that just flashed Friday, the market will likely do something like this. It'll rally, it'll hit this resistance line, right, the wedge resistance line, and it will likely either reject here and we get that second wave of selling, and then we get the final bottom after the FOMC meeting, or we'll get a breakout and then we'll rally, hit this resistance, and then come back down by the FOMC meeting, form a higher low, okay, and then we get that rally into the end of the year. So in either case, this is a bottom, whether it is the final bottom or a lower low is coming. We really don't know, and it's impossible to actually make a call like this, but this is likely going to see a rally to the upside, at least back to this resistance line. This means about 668, 669, something like that, to this cluster, right? We had a close here, an open here, a close here, an open here. So we know this is a key pivot level. This is going to be our target in the short term. If we break above it, we will likely continue to rally to this major resistance line and then perhaps pull back after the FOMC meeting and then rally again. Now let's take a look at the S&P 500 futures market. This is a key level of support at 6,540. We actually pointed out this level of support in the Discord community well ahead of this waterfall sell-off. In fact, we actually saw this waterfall sell-off coming because of the VIX, and I'll explain exactly how right now. So let's jump to the Discord. Right here, if you guys can see, this was at 9 a.m. November 18th, Tuesday. This is Eastern time. This is the chart that I shared of the futures. We had that level already pointed out. The level of support at 652 also pointed out, right? A couple of days before we actually hit that level. And then this was the big giveaway. This is the VIX, okay, guys? And by the way, this is how I share my live analysis in our Discord trading community. If you get access to all of my trade ideas, trade setups, all of my live analysis, access to my actual personal investment portfolio. I also update everybody whenever I buy or sell anything. And you can always ask me any question you want in the Q&A section. If you're looking at a specific stock, you want to know, when has it hit its target yet? Is it going to rally even further? Has it bottomed? I can help with all of that. Now, this was the key threshold, 23.8 on the VIX. If we close above, we get a waterfall sell-off. If we close below, that calls the bottom. Unfortunately, we ended up closing above that VIX threshold, and that's how we knew that a waterfall sell-off is coming. Let me show you what that looks like on the VIX chart. Here it is. Up top is the daily chart for the VIX. Down below is the daily chart for the S&P 500. The key threshold, the 23.8 threshold, is actually based on key VIX historical reactions. The level is right here at the top of this band of resistance. And we can clearly tell whenever the VIX rallies towards this threshold but closes below, the market actually bottoms and we get a rally. When it closes above, we get additional volatility and additional downside, okay? Additional volatility, additional downside, again, additional volatility, additional downside. So that's how we knew that a waterfall sell-off was coming, and that additional volatility usually comes very quickly in a very short period of time, usually 2 to 3 days, and that actually usually calls the bottom. We get additional spike of volatility for 1 day, 2 days, and that's it. Market actually bottoms, right? We get a waterfall sell-off right here, a couple of day waterfall sell-off, significant sell-off in 2 days, and that actually calls the bottom. Again, if we take a look at the April bottom, 2 additional days of huge downside right here, 1, 2, and the third day is actually the bottom. So that's how we knew that this huge bearish engulfing candle was coming, because the VIX told us something bad is about to happen. We closed above the threshold, so we dropped down to our major level of support. We had a bounce here, another one here, boom, again and again. Ever since we broke through this level, it has been acting as a level of support. A lot of bears will look at this and say, okay, this is a left shoulder, this is the head, and this is the right shoulder. Even if that case is true, that means this level is going to act at least as a launch pad for a significant counter rally back to this resistance line at the very least. So even in the worst case scenario, this is going to be a bearish counter trend rally. We can still expect significant upside in the next week and a half until the next Fed meeting, and then we'll have to wait for that reaction to the Fed meeting. In my opinion, if we break above this resistance line, we'll likely continue to this second resistance line, and then when the Fed meeting comes, we back test that resistance line, and if we hold, we rally again. However, if we rally and reject here and we simply fail to clear this resistance line of this bullish falling wedge ahead of the Fed meeting, puts us in a more bearish position to where we can drop lower, break this low, and actually drop to this second level of support. So this is the medium term picture. Let's take a look at the long term picture. Let's take a look at some stocks. Okay, this is PayPal, for example. This is the all-time chart for PayPal, and this is a major level of support, a significant trend line that has held for years and years, and we actually tagged it both Thursday and Friday, and Friday we bounced right off it. Okay, now let's take a look at some other stocks. Let's take a look at Okta, for example. Look at this significant trend line. Tagged it here, we bounced, it formed a bottom, tagged it multiple times. Each time it was the bottom, tagged it again last week, and it is very likely the bottom. Even if the market rallies, gets that counter trend rally, then drops back on the Fed meeting December 10th, we could form simply a double bottom and rally again. So it's not just the S&P 500. There are many stocks. I only gave you a couple of examples. There are so many examples that I shared in the trading community, but these are two of my favorites right now, Okta and PayPal. I usually do not share those kind of trade ideas, except in the trading community. I'm only making an exception today to show you that the overall market, many stocks in the overall market are actually bottoming. And we can see that with the strength in the Russell 2000. Look at this bounce. Much stronger than the S&P 500, right? It almost retraced back to the top of Thursday. In fact, if I take a look at the Russell 2000 relative to the S&P 500, we had a major breakout in the Russell 2000. This is a significant breadth thrust, not something that happens often. It happens rarely, and it usually indicates a major breakout, right? The last time this happened was in August, and the Russell 2000 continued to lead the market for at least 2 additional months. And when the small caps, when the Russell 2000 is leading, you know the market is bullish. You don't see small caps leading in a bearish market. It's impossible. These are the highest risk assets in the market. Small caps, the Russell 2000, significantly higher risk than the S&P 500. So when you see money flowing out of the S&P, out of gold, and into the highest risk assets, you know that the market is actually positioning itself very bullishly. And if we take a look again at the fear and greed index, with extreme fear, a lot of retail traders are actually probably scared out of their minds right now, shorting this huge bearish engulfing candle. They're now stuck because they shorted that major sell-off on Thursday, and there has been no additional downside. There is no follow-up confirmation to the downside that puts any bearish short position at really significant risk here for a counter trend rally. Now I want to close this out with two major charts to show the flip side. Okay, down below is the S&P 500 weekly chart, and up above is the S&P 500 consumer staples sector relative to the rest of the market. Typically, when we break and close above the 10-week moving average, it means one of two things. It means either we're now at the bottom or very close to the end, okay, of a correction. However, when it happens more slowly, more gradually, okay, and as the market is forming a range and it comes at the top of a range, usually means something much worse is coming. But because we've had this breakout signal in defensives, really 3 weeks into the sell-off, it is more likely something that is coming toward the end of a correction rather than the beginning of a correction, right? Just like here. Can we get additional downside? Yes, we can. Again, we get a counter trend rally. It fails at this first resistance line, then likely we get additional downside by the time the Fed meeting comes. However, if we break above this wedge, okay, if we close above it, it'll trigger a wedge breakout signal and we get additional upside at least back to this resistance line. And whenever we break this resistance line, the market very likely rallies to new all-time highs. What about the imminent doom indicator? That is treasuries relative to the S&P 500. We did not get a sell signal. The last time we had a sell signal was actually leading up to that April crash. We haven't had one. We are not at one at this point. And the last chart that I want to close out with is the CPC, the put to call ratio buy and sell signal. We had a sell signal right here when we crossed below and then crossed right back above. Let me mark it on the chart. This was the actual sell signal, and we've been dropping ever since. Now, the buy signal requires that the CPC, or the put to call ratio, rally all the way to 1.03 and then cross back down. We haven't had a buy signal like that since that April bottom, and this is where the caveat comes in. Okay, we could get a counter trend rally. It could fail, okay? And if the put to call ratio does not produce a buy signal by then we can actually talk about an additional leg of downside that comes after the Fed meeting, and that could perhaps allow the put to call ratio to move high enough to trigger that buy signal. So to summarize here, the market is very likely forming at least a short-term bottom. We could expect a counter trend rally back at least to 668 or 669. If we break above this trend line, then we rally all the way to the next target, about 680. Okay, and if that happens, likely the next sell-off after the Fed meeting is going to be only to a higher low, to a back test of this trend line, and then we rally again. If we fail to clear this resistance line, we likely drop even lower by that Fed meeting to the bottom of this wedge, the next level of support at 640, and then we rally. If this second scenario happens, we likely get that put to call ratio buy signal. If the first more bullish scenario happens, we could still get that buy signal as long as this drop from this resistance line comes very quickly, very sharply in, let's say, 2 to 3 days. That will allow the put to call ratio to really explode higher, and that could drive it high enough to trigger that buy signal. And here's that surprise, that secret discount link at extra little, something that I was talking about at the end of the video. This is an additional discount on top of what we're already running on Patreon. If you scroll down in the description box below the video, you'll see a link to upgrade the chat. This will give you an additional, on top of that 45% discount on Patreon, you'll get an additional discount, bringing it down to 50%, half the price. And it comes down to about $27.50 per month if you sign up for the annual membership. This is one of the cheapest memberships out there, and you really get a lot for it. You get access to all of my trade ideas, trade setups, all of my live analysis, access to my actual personal investment portfolio. I also update everybody whenever I buy or sell anything. And you can always ask me any question you want in the Q&A section. If you're looking at a specific stock, you want to know, when has it hit its target yet? Is it going to rally even further? Has it bottomed? I can help with all of that. That's it for today, folks. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.